Grindelwald is lying, and I can prove it. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Wizarding Wiz. So, how many of you actually believe that Creedence Barebone is really Aurelius Dumbledore? And how many of you think that Grindlewald was lying? Well, I'm in the half that think that Grindlewald is lying. In fact, I am pretty sure that I can prove it. Now, we know that in Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, that most of the movie is spent giving a lot of backstory to Leta Lestrange, while Creedence himself is trying to figure out who he really is and who his parents really are. And Grindlewald, this entire time, is trying to manipulate Creedence to come over and join him because he needs Creedence on his side. To what ends, I will get to in a moment. But I think that Grindlewald manipulated the entire situation, and I think that I can prove it. Now, we see Leta clearly remembering that her brother drowned when the boat that they were on coming to America sank. Creedence is then devastated to find out that that is not who he really is and still doesn't know who he is. Grindlewald offers him this answer. However, the answer he gave him was a complete and total lie. Grindlewald planted this memory in Leta Lestrange. He fixed the family tree to show that Corvus Lestrange was actually dead when Leta says that he is actually dead, because if you notice on the tree, his figure doesn't wilt until Leta confirms that Corvus is dead, which to me makes me think that he was not actually dead and the tree only changed because Leta believed it so fully, even though it wasn't true. And I know you're thinking to yourself, well, how can Grindlewald have planted this memory in Leta Lestrange? Why does she remember it so vividly, so clearly, all the way back to her childhood? Well, truth be told, this is not the first time we have seen a powerful dark wizard manipulate memories. In fact, if you remember back to Book 6, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and we're going to be using the book in this theory, not the movie, because there's more detail in the book as to what we actually need to prove my theory that Grindlewald is lying. Now, if we take a look into Half-Blood Prince, Chapter 17, A Sluggish Memory, where Dumbledore is recalling the memory of Morphin Gaunt. In this memory, we learn that the Riddles have just been killed by someone, supposedly Morphin, who has a history of attacking Muggles, specifically Tom Riddle Sr., Voldemort's father. Now, one morning, the maid wakes up and the entire family is dead, and the Ministry calls upon Morphin. So the Ministry called upon Morphin. They did not need to question him, to use veritaserum or legitimacy. He admitted to the murder on the spot, giving details only the murderer could know. He was proud, he said, to have killed the Muggles and awaiting his chance all those years. He handed over his wand, which proved at once to be used to kill the Riddles. So Voldemort stole Morphin's wand and used it, said Harry, sitting up straight. That's right, said Dumbledore. We have no memories to show us this, but I think we can be fairly sure what happened. Voldemort stupefied his uncle, took his wand, proceeded across the valley to the big house over the way. There, he murdered the Muggle man who abandoned his witch mother, and for good measure, his Muggle family, thus obliterating the entire Riddle line, and revenging himself upon the father who never wanted him. Then he returned to the Gaunt hovel, performed the complex bit of magic that would implant a false memory in his uncle's mind, laid Morphin's wand beside his unconscious owner, pocketed the ancient ring he wore, and departed. And Morphin never realized he hadn't done it. Never, said Dumbledore. He gave, as I say, a full and boastful confession. So if we break this down, we see here that Voldemort went and stunned his uncle, stole his wand, killed his family, and then implanted a fake memory into Morphin. Grindelwald could have very easily at some point planted a fake memory inside Leta, or had one of his more powerful followers plant a fake memory inside Leta. But wait, I still have one more piece of evidence for you. Okay? This one involving the house elf known as Winky, owned by Hepzibah Smith. Hepzibah Smith died 2 days after this little scene, said Dumbledore, resuming his seat and indicating Harry should do the same. Hokey the house elf was convicted by the Ministry of poisoning her mistress's evening cocoa by accident. No way, said Harry angrily. I see we are of one mind, said Dumbledore. Certainly there are similarities between this death and that of the Riddles. In both cases, somebody else took the blame. Someone who had a clear memory of having caused the death. Hokey confessed? She remembered putting something in her mistress's cocoa that turned out not to be sugar, but a lethal and little-known poison, said Dumbledore. It was concluded that she had not meant to do it, but being old and confused, Voldemort modified her memory, just like he did with Morphin. Yes, that is my conclusion too, said Dumbledore. And just as with Morphin, the Ministry was predisposed to suspect Hokey because she was a house elf. Finished Harry. And so there we see the second example of somebody's memory being modified to remember something that didn't actually happen. They actually had no part in. So I think it is entirely plausible that Grindelwald performed this same complex bit of magic to modify Leta Lestrange's memory into thinking that she accidentally had her younger brother, her baby brother, drown when the boat that they were on sank. Now maybe the boat really did sink and maybe a baby really did drown, but I don't think that it was Corvus Lestrange. I do 100% believe that it was some other child, that Creedence Barebone is in fact Corvus Lestrange, not Aurelius Dumbledore, not to mention the fact that aside from these memories and the proof that memories can be modified via magic to convince somebody of their guilt or of whatever, the timeline for there to be a fourth Dumbledore sibling just doesn't fit. At the point in time where Creedence would have been born, Albus's father is either in Azkaban or already dead. Not really sure on this. We do know his mother is already dead. His sister is already dead, leaving just him and his brother. Now, maybe Aberforth could have had a child, but it never hinted to that anywhere in any of the books or the movies. And of course, we know that Dumbledore is gay, so most likely has not produced any offspring of his own, let alone the fact that Grindelwald told Creedence he was their brother, not a cousin, nephew, uncle, or anything of that sort. And I'm sure you're sitting there asking, well, why? Why lie about this? Why turn Creedence to his side? Well, because he needs Creedence. Creedence is very powerful, not only with the Obscurious inside of him, but in magic himself, he is a very powerful wizard. And Grindelwald cannot fight Dumbledore due to the blood pact. So having Creedence on his side and having Creedence angry with the Dumbledores and willing to fight him benefits Grindelwald greatly. So there you go, guys. That is my theory, and let me know what you think about it down in the comments, and leave a like on this video. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure you can keep up to date, and definitely let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. That's all I have for you this time, guys. Until next time, stay safe and watch out for those Dementors.